Good day everyone, the Anime Down here with another video. We are going back to talk about some more manhwa that deserve to be animated in this video. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us out. So let's get to the video. Tower Into the Clouds is a series that recently ended with over 400 chapters. It is a completed series that was exclusively published in ACQQ, Tencent's comic platform. It was one of the most popular titles in the platform during its run, and for good reason. There is a lot to like in this series, and if it is eventually animated, I'm sure it would be enjoyed by many fans, be it anime or donghua. This series, for some reason, many people immediately see comparisons between it and Tower of God. Let me address that idea first. There is absolutely nothing in common apart from the fact that in both series, the main characters are climbing a tower. In this series, it is a pagoda, to be more specific. If that is enough to call it a ripoff of Tower of God, then sure it is a ripoff. The main character, Maoli, enters the tower seemingly without much idea of what it is. But it does not seem like there is much alternative as he wakes up in the middle of a desert, with the tower being the only structure in front of him, without any memory or any idea of who he is. The large structure in front of him takes his interest and he enters it. On the base floor, he is surprised by a weird creature. It is just a bald, fat, floating guy, whose appearance hurts the eyes of the main character. This initially gives the audience an idea of what the series is all about. It might have seemed mysterious at first, but this showcases that it is a comedy-driven series. The comedy drives the series, with gags coming continuously in every chapter. And after leaving the fat guy, he wanders up to enter the first floor. There are serious moments that are embroiled in absurd situations that are very comical. In addition, the main character, while stupid, is actually quite strong. That is a mystery that builds up over the series as well. I think this series would work quite well in animated form. It reminds me of The Pinnacle, another comedy manhwa that has been animated. However, its comedy is more in your face. It's more gaggish and visual. It would be a really fun series to see animated. It has some really good moments and it's a really fun series, and the art of the manhwa is really good. So I recommend the manhwa for any fans of comedy series. All Devouring Whale is one of Bilibili's exclusive series. It is quite a fun read. It is a shonen series basically, using the Japanese term. It's also rather interesting how he used a common Xuanhuan Chinese fantasy setting, but made the fighting and cultivation be centered around creatures that cultivators make contracts with and groom for battles. It is not necessarily the only series to have that focus, but it is one of the most popular ones. In this series, the cultivators and their sects all fight alongside the creatures, and as they level up, they become more connected to their creatures, to the level of taking damage whenever they are hurt. There are a lot of different creatures, so there's a classification system that includes ranks, class, and types, so things are quite well put together, even if the way the author inserts explanation is quite convenient. By that, I mean most explanations are given out in speech, which makes it stick out like a sore thumb. So this series is like Pokemon meets Chinese fantasy. I would be interested to see it turn into some sort of game in the future. Overall, I believe it is a lot better than most cheap cultivation comics out there, because of its creature grooming aspect. In addition, the amount of monster types and the abilities they can hold makes things a lot more varied when it comes to the fighting. One of the problems, however, is that the art is not really that good, especially when it comes to the action scenes, as it just not seems to be able to showcase rapid movements in fights. So it feels stiff and fails to draw out much excitement, from me at least. So as a result, it lacks in the hot-blooded department, since it does not really have the emotional punch, and its art in fights is a bit lacking in the exciting department. But overall, it is a fun series, and I enjoy the creatures. It is quite a standard story about the main character rebuilding the things that crashed around him. In an animated form, I wish it would have great animation to help address some of the lack of impact on the action scenes in the manhwa. Apart from that, I see this as quite a promising title if animated. The story is simple and easy to follow. It adds a unique touch to a very popular setting, so it would be quite a big hit in my eyes if well animated. I would recommend this series for any fans of adventure comics. Despite the faults I highlighted, I feel it's a really fun read. The Chosen One is a top series from Manhua. It ended quite recently with 100 chapters, however not before receiving significant renown in China for its outstanding technical, artistic, and storytelling prowess. It was one of Kwaikan's top read titles, and even after its end, it continues to hang in there with currently ongoing titles. One of the reasons for that is its continued relevance from the praise it receives. For instance, it was one of the winners of the Bronze Award in Japan's International Manga Award, and it was recently given the title of Best Comic in a recent award ceremony in China. The story focuses on Gao Ying, a newly arrived undergraduate student in the city of Guangdong. However, he arrives a day earlier than the orientation, which means he's not able to stay at the dorms yet, so he needs a place to stay naturally, and he ends up finding a strange inn with rooms to stay for the night. The place feels a bit run down, and the inn owner seems incredibly eerie and a bit of a trickster, but the main character, in his naivety and innocence, is taken in by the innkeeper and decides to stay the night. The initial chapters showcase the main aspects of the series. Firstly is the composition. Considering this is only Mo Fei's, the author of the series' second completed work, it is surprising how good he is at controlling the angles to build on the atmosphere and the flow of the story. It is a great use of visuals to tell the story. There are a lot of nuances in the panels that necessitates the reader to pay attention. Speed readers would quickly lose the plot, since the speech bubbles are not the only source of storytelling. What this series provides is a well-structured story with a great dynamic relationship between the two main characters. The two have a frail but clear understanding that coexistence is the way to go, but gradually the relationship is built throughout the series. In addition to the story and characters, there is a clear type of comedy used by the author, often in a break of the expectations. It can be goofy, but it works to lighten the story and make it more digestible for a wider audience. It is overall a really strong series that could really use an animation, because it honestly, totally would be awesome. After all, the story is great, the characters are too, so it would be all up to the animation. If it was to the standard of the other two, I'm sure it would be a big hit. Anyway, before the animation comes out, I really recommend people read this series. It's just really good stuff. So that was the video, guys. Do you like these videos talking about manhwa? Or do you wish we went further in depth about each one instead? So instead of featuring 3 or 4 in the video, focusing just on one. Leave the answers to this question and any other feedback at the comment section below, please. And drop a like and subscribe to the channel on the way out. Thank you. See you guys later.